So after my live stream with Adam, K6ARK, I thought it would be fun to show you my portable radio Go kit for Morse code. There's actually a couple of kits that we're going to talk about, but one of them centers around the Mountain Topper 4-band. I still have my eyes out for a 3-bander. That's kind of another unicornish radio that I want to get my hands on. That one's actually easy to get. Most people will be able to achieve that. But yeah, not very big, right, this radio? And yeah, full capability on Morse code in your pocket, basically. 9-volt battery if you wanted to go that low, but also runs at 12 volts, and you'll get about 5 watts output of this radio. So let's throw it over to the tabletop here, and I'll go over this radio kit as well as some ideas on how I can swap things out and potentially other bags and boxes that I can put this all in. So here on the table is just an example of like a sample setup. Obviously we're in the shack here, but a lot of these items are going to be useful if you're in the field. Assume that this is just an antenna connection. We'll talk more about antennas, but I wanted to walk through kind of a couple of radios that I put into a kit that I'm going to show you, and then some of the accessories that I have that I carry along with me, or that I will be carrying as I go challenge myself to do my first activation. Right up front, I want to mention this recorder. Obviously, these are small little Morse code radios that don't really have recording capability. You'd have to step up to something like a much larger 705 to record your QSOs. But this is handy, particularly if you're starting out, particularly if you're a YouTuber or you're, want to have a way to record your QSOs. This is a Sony, what the heck is this? ICD-PX470. And the link will be in the description. This guy runs off of AAA batteries, and it has a USB plug on the bottom. What makes this handy for CW stuff is it has input and output here. So you can just go ahead and get onto whatever radio you want, go into your microphone here, which is going to be your speaker, and there's your headset for listening on your earbuds or whatever. And I do recommend earbuds. Often I use this little speaker, which is an AYL speaker I got off of Amazon. Again, the link will be in the description if you want to take a look at it, or find wherever you go from there. But these two, you can still put this in the middle using like an aux cable, right? So you're just going to tap in to the radio via the mic side and then have the speaker come out, or your earbuds. So handy little device there. Wanted to mention it because that question comes up a lot on other CW videos I've seen, is how people do this. Also, this is incredibly valuable for satellite contacts. If you're into VHF, UHF satellites, this is a really nice little piece of kit, and it's cheap. I think you can get this for, was it $40 to $50, $60, somewhere around there. So it's really cheap and it's effective. You don't need something that high quality, but just an FYI. All right, so keys, obviously I've got a box of keys here, and I got another key in this kit that I'll open up, but you can carry straight keys out in the field like this. This is a SpeedX key. This is one of the first keys I ever purchased, and the one that went with me through CW Ops 1 and obviously Long Island CW Club. It's got a fine action. The only thing I did is put it on a little metal base. That makes it a little heavier, but obviously when it's on the table or wherever you're activating from, if you wanted to do that, it's not going to slide around on you, which is pretty valuable. So remember, this video is just kind of showing you some ideas of kit that you may want to focus on. This was picked up at a ham fest, and highly recommended. Okay, talking about power connection leads. So a lot of these, this is going to be your standard coaxial cable into your radio. So for instance, this guy, although he uses a special coaxial, doesn't matter. If you had a 9-volt, which a lot of these radios will run off of, you can just make yourself a little connector, and this one's obviously pretty botched up with Gorilla Glue. But I wanted to give a shout out. You can actually tear apart 9-volt batteries and take this top connector off, and there's your connectors. So you can wire this up here, right? Just attach the wire leads, just make sure you got the positive and negative correct. And you can use this to be your power connection. So that's really nice. Handy tip, you don't have to go buy leads, just save dead 9 volts and tear them apart. And then how you do it is you just connect them up like so. So there's your 9-volt connection, and there's the connection that would go in the battery. So Anderson power poles are the jam for a lot of this stuff. It allows you to quickly adapt. And my Denko, well, I don't know, Hoshco battery that I made with the help of Dennis 86DM. Watch the live stream if you are so inclined. Has a short little lead, and I can just plug into that guy there, and now I'm ready to go. So really, you're only packing the battery and the cable. And as an example here, so I was running off of this Bioenno here off the scene. So if I just take my little power lead, go into this guy, there we go. So we're back on the air. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. There's another option there, but it's in my kit that I'll show you here shortly. And then keys, lots of different keys, and these are going to be highly personal, subjective to what you want to do and your customization, if you want that or not. I'm going to show you a couple, and there'll be videos in the future. So let's do this guy first. This is a eBay special key. This is showing up a lot now online. You see a couple of videos. I believe Red Summit RF is doing a video on this, so go watch his video. He's actually going to talk intelligibly about it. I can just show you the size of it. It is adjustable. It's got kind of a wobbly action here, way too wide. That needs to be tightened up. And it also uses an aux connection, which I really like for keys. Keys that have this, most do. But the really cool thing about this guy is it's well, that's not going to work. So the nice thing about it is it's magnets. It's magnetized. So you can attach this to a park bench, or if you had a metal strip on the side of your radios, most radios are aluminum, you can slap this on, although it wants to sit vertically like this, so you can use it. Most of these keys, when you're out in the field, you'll see folks like Thomas Witherspoon and those that operate CW will like hold the key and work this way, or they'll hold the key and push it down on a table, and they get the job done. Go watch Adam K6ARK with his field portable stuff, and you can see that in action. I will mention CWMorse.us. They make 3D printed keys like this tiny little straight key. This is their QRP portable straight key. And it's, you just put your finger on the base here. It's got a huge gap though, and it's not adjustable. They make a slightly bigger one that's more adjustable, and that's a lot nicer in this case, but hey, FYI. Okay, moving along. Adam K6ARK, to mention him again, he is now printing these paddles, and this is, again, it uses a little aux cable in the back. It's got slide out paddles. You hold it and you can work the key like that, and in fact it's got magnets in the bottom, so it'll work magnetized, and the bottom actually pops off, and it's got a little groove slot that you can affix this to the side of radios that have screws like mountain toppers. I'll show you a mountain topper here in a little bit. So you can leave this key plate up on the side of your mountain topper and connect it up that way, and then the plate actually can go on in multiple different arrangements. So now this is a side setup for mountain topper right there on the right hand side. These are cool. Adam said he's going to possibly produce more of these, so we'll see what he brings out. I think it's a nice economic reply to a key that everybody really likes and is impossible to get these days, which is the Pico paddle, Palm Pico paddles, which are no longer made, which is a bummer because they're amazing, and you'll see one here in a little bit. All right, the last two I'll mention before we get into my actual kit, and again, the kit's modular, so any one of these things at any time can be swapped out. I'll be doing a video on this in the future. You got two varieties of this. We talked about it on a live stream. This is the Tiny Paddle by K6ARA, and this little guy and this one are iambic paddles. So they shove into the front of a mountain topper, for instance, and then you can key. Or more aptly, not the front of a mountain topper, but the front of the KX1, which has a key slot right there. And it says dits and DAWs, so that's the DAW side, so you flip that over, and there's your key. Right, comes right off the front of it. For radios like a mountain KX1, it's kind of cool. Nice little backup key too. It can just live in this little pill case and disappear. There is the reverse side, which is the female side, meaning that it's a female connection here with a little orange 3D printed case. So this one, same kind of thing. You can throw your fingers on the ground or table, and you can work the key that way. This guy comes with a aux cable, and it has a tuning tool. So yeah, let me pull this back out. So as you use this, right, these are little metal pieces here. It may come out of tune, so you come in here with this guy, slide it in like that, and then you can give it a little torque to adjust it. Pretty smart, pretty handy. All right, let me show you what's in the bag today, and we can walk through some alternates, some changes, and talk about antennas that are effective for Morse code. CW. Hey guys, I'll take a break in the action to say, hey, if you haven't already, hit subscribe. I do a lot of ham radio topics and I live stream every week, sometimes twice a week even, because I'm now hosting Ham Nation. And if I mention any products in this video, the links will be in the description so you can check them out. And there is a likelihood that it's going to be an affiliate code. And so if you buy it, I do get a little bit of help there, help support the channel. And I appreciate it. Onward with the kit. I kind of like this black mat. What do you think for my videos? Should I keep the black mat or go back to the white? I assume that things like black radios get washed out a little bit, but would love your thoughts on that. All right, so here is my current bag. This is the new bag, same as the old bag, I guess. I have a ton of small bags like this, so really the bag is less important, and there are some things that you may not want about this bag. This is a Tom Bin design. Tom Bin makes amazing stuff. In fact, I even have some COVID masks and some other bags by Tom Bin, and I learned about this size. I didn't really deep dive their website from Thomas Witherspoon. K4SWL. I'll link to the description, link in the description to a blog he did talking about this bag and his setup. I liked the bag so much I went out and got it. So you can say I'm copying Thomas, which, hey, you got good stuff, you're gonna sell some gear, and this bag is pretty cool. Outside there are strap holders, and these are removable straps. These are the little clicky kind that have the gates that you kind of press and then fold the leg out. I love these. I'm now turning into an advocate of these clips on things. They really make it nice to attach things like radio holders. I have another bag that has a radio holder on the outside that I can put pretty much any radio, even the big ICOM ID52 will fit. I'll show a B-roll of it so you can see. There's a really cool feature that I like just looking around the outside here is these hand straps. This is a feature that is on my gear Wrangler bag from Peak Design, and I absolutely love having this. I don't know why, it gives you confidence if you're holding it. There's an outside pouch, we'll just dive into this, which I have a Right in the Rain tablet. I have some assorted QSL cards and stickers in case I talk to people and they're unfamiliar with my YouTube. You don't need to have that necessarily. There is a clip here if you want to do keychains or something like, I don't know, maybe a little button compass or a fire starter of some kind, so you just have that on you. And I use a space pen. I don't like the bullet space pens too much. I like them to have a clip at the top and be a little bit longer, so that's what this is. All right, I've removed the straps. You got two nice zippers on the top. These are YKK zippers. They make nice stuff. Some of you know zippers, and you know that brand's pretty well known. There's an outside mesh pocket that I have a battery. This is I believe it's an 18650 3-cell battery pack, and it charges on a coaxial input, and it has an output on the same port, and it has a USB port if you wanted to charge a phone. There are indicator lights right there. This is advertised as the model YB1203,000 USB, and it outputs 3 amps max, which is more than enough for whatever you wanted to do with your portable radios, pretty much so. And I'm saying QRP, portable radios. Okay, along with that, there are 2 jumpers that I have. They are identical, okay? So coaxial input, output, and Anderson's. And the idea behind that is you can plug these together and then go into the battery pack and then into the radio. Because again, it's a coaxial output and input. So keep that in mind. So whatever radio you pack, which reminder, this Venus has a slightly smaller diameter coaxial connector, which you have to acknowledge when you're packing your kit, that it's not the same diameter. So you got to make sure you carry something for that radio. I kind of like just standard coaxials. That way you can have a couple of these built and you can just grab them as you need to. Otherwise, you kind of have to keep this one with the radio like that and like Velcroed on the top of it if you're storing it not in a bag like I sometimes do, because I got a lot of radios, to be honest. I think everybody knows that. All right, so we'll get that on the side here. Top pouch, I call it top from your point of view. It's zippered, and you could put pencils, pens, elastic little bits here, and then non-elastic, just nylon loops. There's a couple ring binders. You can do all kinds of stuff with this, your imagination. I'll let you decide. The antenna that I have with this is an antenna that Adam gave me when he was, I think this might, I don't know if prototype's the right word, but it was definitely before his kits were available on the market. And this is his end-fed half-wave. You can see it's just absolutely tiny, right? Winder's affixed to this cordage that attaches to the antenna. So you could hypothetically take a piece of gear snake like I've talked about and run it through a pole, a telescopic pole, or you could just hang it from the tip of a tree and run the line across. An end-fed is an end-fed. Get the wire in the air. You get the idea. In the lower pouch, here is one of my favorite pieces of kit. And those of you that know what this is, you're probably a little jealous. Anyway, Palm Pico. Palm was a company that is now defunct, and they made a variety of paddles, and this is the Pico size. They made a palm size. This is a very tiny iambic key that is fully tunable. It has a little Allen key in the bottom here with 2 strong magnets, and there's that little keyed slot for whatever radio you might run. You can go into a mountain topper with this, and it has a variety of different configurations. So if you wanted to affix this to the side of a radio, you can attach it that way, so that you can just pull this off, disconnect it. And then this is actually, you can push this out the back, which I can't because I've got this on. So if I go out the back here, you can see this is a fully tunable CW key. This is just a really nice piece of kit. Very hard to get now. They're pretty much unobtainium. So sorry to show you something else that's hard to get, but you know, this is what I pack. Sorry about that. And then next to it is a pair of, I think these are Skull Candy. Yeah, these are Skull Candy earbuds. They're just better than cheap phone earbuds. Skull Candy makes really inexpensive earbuds. These are pretty old. It has a microphone, which you're really not going to use. Actually, yeah, it does have a microphone. And so this goes in the side of the radio. So the radio itself, you may be wondering, well, where's the radio? Under this mesh pouch here, under this mesh pouch is a mountain topper, 4-band. And this is a really rough ABS plastic 3D print I did. This is the first attempt at doing this mount, but it's ABS, so I figured what the hell. And I kind of like it. It looks like Han, the Carbonite from Empire Strikes Back. Anyway, this design for the top lid was done by Adam, K6ARK. So kudos to Adam, man of many, many talents. Anyway, it's just kind of friction fit on the side, and the radio comes out. Now, you know a little bit about this radio. It's 4 bands, and you use these sliders here. They all have to be in alignment, so 80, all the same. 40, you go 1 click over. 30, go 1 click over again. And you got to do that for everything, and there's 20. Very simple radio, no dials to snap off or anything like that, so it packs up very nice. The only thing, and this is where you may want to swap things out if you make a different decision, is it is bigger than the Venus. So interesting. The Venus is thinner from the body, but the dials stick out, but it is smaller. So hypothetically, you could print some kind of case that protected the buttons, and you would get similar capability and a couple of things that this doesn't do. This is 3-band, this is 4. 3-band, 4-band. This has a CQ call. This is actual programming slots. This has a volume control and AF gain and RF gain, so you actually have more control than this. This has a just standard volume out. It's not controllable at all. I will remind everybody that I do run this recorder. So out of this radio, into the recorder, into my ears, I can control the volume with this. So people will pack inline volume controls with this radio. I'll link one in the description people use. It's still fine. It's a little loud, but if you're on a mountaintop or a noisy, windy area, you may want the loud volume. Side tone is not adjustable on this one, which is a bit of a downside, but again, you know, hey, whatever. The big standout difference between these two is the price. So this is $345. This is $160 something. I'll overlay the picture so you can see the price of it. This is a cheap radio. I haven't spent enough time with it. In fact, Thomas Witherspoon, K4SWL, I'll link his channel. He just got one of these, and he's much more proficient in operating POTA on CW than I am. So if he has a video out by the time I post this, I will link that so you can watch it, because it's possible for a lot of you that this little radio is an easy exchange to that of the Mountain Topper. I think so. If I was in a situation to decide which one I might want, I might go with the 3B, this Venus, over the Mountain Topper. I do like that the Mountain Topper has programmable memory channels, which you can use to send CQ POTA, you know, thank you, your 5N and 5NN, etc. That's nice. This doesn't do that. This does CQ and your call sign. So keep that in mind. I'll link to both radios in the description. You can check them out. I am not affiliated with either company, LNR, or the Chinese company that does these radios. So, you know, you decide kind of what you want, or look up other YouTube videos where they go in greater detail. I'll probably do a video where I kind of give you an example of what these sound like, and I will do it into the recorder so that you get a good audio representation other than trying to pick up this speaker, which you're only hearing what's coming out of the speaker versus what's actually recorded on the output. I think this has higher value than doing it that way. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of the kit, and it's all modular. You can go back and swap out any one of these keys that you would prefer. Any one of these keys, you can swap that out. You can go with a different battery pack if you wanted something a bit longer lasting. I assume my custom Hoshco in affiliation with Denko battery is going to last longer than this 18650. 18650 has the added value of a USB port. You can add one to this, but you get the idea. So yeah, hopefully that gives you some ideas, some thoughts, and look forward to a future video where I'll be actually showing you a little bit more about these radios, playing through them a little bit, and giving you an example of their audio quality. Okay? I would be remiss if I didn't talk about something really fast, and that's alternate antennas. Obviously, you can run the K6ARK or any number of NFEDs, or these PAC-10as, for instance, right? I like the PAC-10as. This is a 20-meter PAC-10a NFED, and this is the 40-meter add-on. There's advantages to doing this. You get mount points. The ends have links attached to them so that you can connect into the pole. For instance, I bored out this loop here, this clip, and it goes to the very tippy top telescopic element on my soda beams mast, and then you can just push it into a tree, or you can, you know, use your orange gear tie snake to snake it onto a pole, a fence, tree limb, park, picnic table, whatever. Anyway, there's tons of options for antennas. Don't take my video here as like this is the only way. Obviously, I don't think you do, but keep in mind. I do want to give one note though. You're generally going to want to go with resonant antennas unless you want to pack a tuner along with you, which you may or may not want to do. So things like the Elecraft AX1 here, it may not be the way to go. And in fact, you can watch a myriad of videos on this antenna. In fact, I did a review of it too. Out of the box, it's 17 and 20 meters, and you use the tuner to get you 15 meters on a KX2 or KX3. If you're using one of these guys, then you're going to need to use like the Elecraft tuner or a variety of other QRP tuners, or a manual tuner like the MFJ Pocket Tuner. But they're not fantastic antennas. And there's a wide variety of them. Like this is the Comet HFJ 350M, and it's another one of these telescopic jobbers. This one actually has an extension for 80 meters, and here's the whip. These come up a lot because they look really convenient. In fact, here's 40 meters now for the AX1. I've got a ton of these. And I haven't made a video on them because it's really hard to make contacts on them. It's really difficult. There's a ton of videos of people making contacts with them, but, and again, I'm going to mention Thomas Witherspoon again, K4SWL. Thomas will make contacts very quickly with wire antennas, PAC-10as, K6ARK similar antennas. But then he'll pull one of these guys out, like this AX1, and he'll sit there and he'll work hard as you can, calling CQ, to make contacts with this. So keep that in mind. It's super convenient though, right? I mean, this all packs down into these little indiscriminate parts. It's almost like you're building a gun, you know, from any one of those spy movies. Anyway, it packs down like this, and this is the radials. This is the 20-meter radial, and this is the 40-meter radial. That's all you got to carry. This is still much bigger than the K6A or K, pack along, or the pack 10-20 for that instance. But, some people like it because it doesn't take up any space. You just kind of mount it off of the radio, or you use this little guy, which is actually a double-sided BNC to a tripod mount with the radial lug nut there. Elecraft sells this. And so you go into a little tripod, stand this up, and then you can attach the vertical directly to it, which is super convenient. I grant you, it's super convenient to do that. And in fact, this is how I made a single sideband contact to Japan using this antenna. They work, but warning, it's not great. It's a compromised antenna, and you need to keep that in mind. Anyway, I had to say that because I know I get questions on these type of antennas, and just wanted to make sure you know. And in case anybody wants to know what this is a Osprey shaving kit bag. There's actually a mirror that comes out there, and there's a hook so you can hang this up. It's a shaving bag. It's an overnight bag, to-go bag, toiletries bag, whatever you want to call it. I've just repurposed it for portable antennas, so I just kind of shake it all down and fold it up like that. It's a roll, and then clip it. So it's a nice handy way to have a quiver. It's almost literally like a tool roll of antennas. So that's what that is. This is not radio, but I got to put it in here. If you guys like mechanical pencils, I like mechanical pencils. I want to throw a shout out to the Unikuru Taga. This pencil is great. And what it does, and I want to, it's a mechanical pencil, it's 0.5 lead size. What it does, and let me see if I can get it on video. Where is it? Can you see that? Yeah, you can. Okay. Let me get this all framed in so you can see it. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Okay, watch this little O here when I push down on the tip. Every time you push pencil to paper, it rotates the lead. So you're never getting these weird hot spots and angles, and it will constantly feed out more lead. It is a great pencil, and it's really inexpensive. So, well, inexpensive is relative, I believe, but I'll post the link. I think it's a really great little pencil, but anyway, you can check that out. For those of you that like to use pencils instead of pens if you're writing CW in the field, I would highly recommend the Kuru Toga, or Toga. Yeah, anyway, you get the idea. So what do you think? What am I missing? That's the thing that I always love, is what am I missing? What can I go buy to add to my kit and round it out a little bit, or soften some of the weakness areas that may exist? I love radio kits. I'm a bag aficionado. In fact, Leia says I have way too many bags. I have more bags than she has purses, which she likes to bring up on the podcast. Speaking of our podcast, it's the Ham Radio Crash Course Podcast. It's available pretty much wherever you pod. So go check that out. We talk about ham radio and way many other things. Life, in her life at least, my wife who stars with me or hosts with me on the podcast, in her pain points in having to deal with me, which I'm assuming are pretty serious. Tell me what's in your radio kit. Post your comments below. I would like to hear it. I'm Josh, KI6NAZ. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.